First thing we want to talk about this morning is that great relationships are self-reflective. Great relationships are self-reflective. 1 Samuel 20 verse 1, it says, "Then David fled from Naioth to Ramah and went and said to Jonathan, 'What have I done? What is my iniquity and what is my sin before your father that he seeks my life?'" So as we've been walking through 1 Samuel over the last few months, we've seen the story of David and dealing with Saul. Saul is the king of Israel. David is the heir apparent. And there's this battle between David and Saul where Saul, because he's a jealous monster, wants to kill David. And so they kind of go on this back and forth where David's fleeing Saul. And so here we are again. Saul wants to kill David. Jonathan is Saul's son. Jonathan and David have become the best of friends, even though Jonathan is Saul's son. Jonathan kind of becomes a protector of David in the midst of this relationship where David is constantly running from King Saul. David has killed Goliath. Saul had these promises. Saul doesn't follow up with his promises. In this moment, David has every right to complain about Saul. He has every right to say something bad about Saul. He has every right to speak against Saul because Saul is being a knucklehead. Yeah. But David doesn't do that. The first place that David looks is in himself. He says to his friend Jonathan, "What's wrong with me? Is there something I'm doing wrong? Why does your dad constantly try to kill me? I'm doing everything I'm trying to do, but let me know, Jonathan, what is it inside of me that needs to be fixed? What is it inside of me that needs to be changed? Because I'm getting really tired of your dad trying to kill me all the time. So if there's something that I need to change, let me know what it is." And I love it that David starts with himself. He doesn't start with, "Let me tell you what's so bad about my boss." He doesn't start with, "You know what the problem with my husband or wife is? You know what the problem is with my kids? The problem with my neighbor is this." No, he starts with himself. I mean, the truth is, Saul's evil. He's a dirtbag. The truth is, David has done not anything wrong. But here's what I love about David. You know, they talk about how David was a man after God's own heart. Yes. And so in this moment, he shows that heart where he says, "You know what? I so desperately want to honor God with my life that I want to be as clean as possible. I want to make sure there's nothing inside of me that's wrong." And so even though I am, in the world's eyes, I'm justified to say that the problem is not me at this point, I'm still going to look inside of myself and say, where have I gone wrong? I mean, this is the heart of David. Psalm 139, "Search me, O God, and know my heart. Try me and know my anxieties." Psalm 26, "Examine me, O Lord, and prove me. Try my mind, try my heart." You know what's interesting? You can get a lot done in your spiritual life when you spend time reflecting before God, asking Him to reveal the things that you need to work on. Amen. Start with yourself. People want to have these big spiritual experiences like, "Man, I want to know God. I want God to speak to me." Pray prayers that He can easily answer. Go before God and say, "God, what's wrong with me?" And then be quiet and listen, and He will tell you. He always answers that prayer. See, part of the problem we have in America is that we live in a constant buzz. A constant, like, I'm on my phone, I'm listening to the radio, I'm watching TV, I'm always hanging out with people. Never just like sitting. I mean, you can't even fall asleep in the dark. You leave the TV on while you fall asleep because you can't stand your own thoughts. You don't want to hear what God wants to tell you what's wrong with you. Spend some time alone. Be quiet before God. Say, "God, what is it that I need to work on?" Start with yourself.